Wagwan, everybody. Lennox here from Simple123 Trader. This is the outlook, for the weekly outlook for the futures in the Forex and currencies and US indices. Starting off tonight, hope everybody's doing well, by the way, and are safe. Starting off with the US dollar tonight. I just want to take a look at the US dollar because the US dollar is the key to the major pairs. So right now on the 15-minute, let me go start off on the monthly here and take a look. So on the monthly, as you can see, we have pushed to the upside with lots of strength in the last few months here. These are monthly bars. So in the last few months, we've been on quite a tear to the upside on the US dollar. So dropping to the weekly and taking a look at this, of course, on the weekly, you're also pushing up with lots of strength. We're coming up into a resistance zone, however, so we have to be aware of that. And this might be a congestion area that could take us sideways for a while, type of thing. All right, so very close to that area. And on the daily, so looking as to what's going to be happening for the rest of the week here, got 5 days to go before the 24th. So looking like we have some strength that should push us to the upside for the remainder of the week. So I'm looking at a move of strength in the US dollar. If I go to a lower time frame, let's just drop down to the 4 hour, for example, and take a closer look at this. You can see that very choppy affair right now. So in the short term, we're moving to the upside here, but we could pull back before we get that push out of this congestion that we're in. So we're in quite a congested area, very volatile, but still opportunity to go with some strength out of here. If I go even lower on the 1 hour time frame, this is a scenario, again, a big push, similar to the monthly, similar to the weekly. We've got this big push to the upside. We reached a resistance, a pocket of resistance, and we're just trying to break through that one more time to the upside on the hourly. So this will play out going forward. So a little bit of strength, at least anyways, in the short term for the US dollar. So based on that, we could look at, for example, our members were looking at Japanese yen. If I go to Japanese yen, let's go to the monthly on Japanese yen, and it's at a support area and looking now to push off that support to the upside, similar to what the US dollar is moving to the upside. So now we can go to the weekly at that and look at that. And so quite the drop. Now we're turning, it looks like we're turning around with some vigor, and we'd be looking for that push back up over the coming weeks. All right, so dropping to the daily, and for the remainder of the week, it looks like that's what's going to take place. We could get something like that, and then that move to the upside for the Japanese yen. So opportunities there on that play. Now, conversely, if we looked at the euro should be the opposite. So let's go to the monthly on the euro. Euro is heading to the downside, okay, with some vigor as well. So this is on the monthly, and we have been in a downward spiral heading down to this support area with further support areas down below. So looking like euro doing the opposite of what the US dollar is doing will, let me just go to the weekly. Yeah, so the week, you can see the weekly after that big 1, 2, 3 top there, and we're on our way down with lots of weakness. We're right at a crucial, just like the US dollar, we're at a crucial spot, but it looks like might be a slight bounce here before we continue the trajectory to the downside for the remainder of this week and into the new year more than likely. So lots of weakness, opportunities to to sell any of the euro pairs. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil on the monthly. So crude oil has had quite a run, and it's came back. And is it done this move down, or are we ready for a rebound back to the upside? Let's take a closer look on the weekly. Okay, so we hit that first band of support, and it looks like it wants to bounce, but it might not be done to the downside. So let's take a closer look at it on the daily. And yes, it's looking like we are not done after this move. We could see a further drop, breaking the previous low. But that can take a while to play out. This is on the daily. I don't expect that to happen this week. It could, of course, but we'll see how that plays out. We're in a very weak state with oil at this time. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin also on its way down, like I explained from last week. So we're retracing this entire move to the upside, and we're about at the halfway point and looking to continue further down. So opportunities to pick up Bitcoin perhaps in the 35,000 area is looking pretty good at this point. So still on our way down. Next line of defense is here, and that's in the $40,000, $42,000 area. So we could indeed slice through and go even lower, but that would be the first line of defense. The second line of defense in the $38,000 area here. Okay, so opportunities for picking up some Bitcoin if you so desire at those lower levels. All right, let's take a look at the Dow 30. Okay, so this is the US 30 Dow, and we're at a crucial point here as well. So we've kind of stumbled a little bit, and we can't really see that well on the monthly. Drop to the weekly. Now we can see. So we came through this kind of sideways move, and we're heading to the downside with some vigor at this point. So looking for the remainder of the week, that Santa Claus rally that everybody has been talking about might not be in the cards. It's looking a little bit on the weak side here. So unless there's some change in, dramatic change, we're not going to see this bouncing back to the upside. We'll see continued pressure and a breach of those lows and even these lows. So going into this last week here, we might see plenty of weakness as people try to settle up their accounts and books and so forth before the year's out. All right, so weakness in the Dow. So that would also imply weakness in the S&P. So you can see on the daily, same type of structure. And that structure is really crystal clear. We've had that very strong move. Now we're heading to the downside. So we could see a bounce, once we hit this area, we could see a bounce that would take us back up again, and we might get a head and shoulders out of this, which would be could be pretty dangerous if that occurs, but we'll see. It's also possible that that will just go halfway and then continue its move to the upside, but we'll see how that plays out. Right now, in the short term, weakness on those fronts. Okay, also the technology group will be similar. You can see it's the same type of play. We're on our way down. First line of defense is right in here, and we could hit that no problem. Of course, these are daily bars. We have 5 days to go before the end of the week, so we could certainly hit that area in short order and cut right through to the downside. Okay, so be aware of that for the US market. Take a look at gold, and on the monthly gold has it's still in a struggling area, so we're not seeing any big push we're still sideways in gold. It's been very stuck in this range for quite a while now, as you can see on the weekly. So I'm not seeing any breakouts here at all. Nobody's running for safety as yet. It's still trying to get out of here, but there's not any big, huge movements. So in the short term, if I have to drop down to a lower time frame to see this, but in the short term this week, we could see further a further drop at first, at least anyways, kind of retracing this move back down, maybe back down to this area before we get a turnaround again to the upside perhaps. All right. So we've looked at Bitcoin, and I think Ethereum is probably, Ethereum is probably still stuck sideways. Let me just take a look at that on a daily. Yeah, it's still in that same mode and probably a little further drop to the downside. And let's see, anything else here? Japanese yen, we looked at crude oil, the Aussie dollar, of course. I think Aussie dollar will be like the euro. It'll also be heading to the downside because the US dollar strength. So that's what we'll be looking for, continued weakness in the Aussie. And you can see this has been quite weak for a long while, and it's still struggling, and further weakness with the next line of defense in this area before we get out of that move. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up for this week. So keep your eyes on the US dollar if you're playing the majors in the Forex market. Profitable trading to everyone. Be safe out there. I'm done now. Thank you.